Welcome to SATV News. This is Shibala along with our headlines. Sheikh Hasina starts her 4-day state visit to India. India hopes the trip is set to further strengthen the relationship. Election Commission will not interfere to any political strategies during next general election, says CEC Qazi Habibul Awal. SSC exams will begin on September 15 at 11 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. considering the traffic jam, says Education Minister. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina reached New Delhi today for her 4-day state visit at the invitation of her India counterpart Narendra Modi. India's State Minister for Railways and Textiles Darshana Jardosh received Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina at Palam Airport, New Delhi this afternoon. At that time, Bangladesh High Commissioner to India Mohammad Imran was present. Cooperation on trade, energy, water sharing of common rivers and Rohingya issues are expected to be top agendas during her visit. The Premier is expected to hold talks with the Indian President, Prime Minister and Vice President, while several numbers of MOUs on different fields are expected to be signed during her India visit from today to 8 September. Meanwhile, Ministry of External Affairs of India said that Hasina's India trip is set to further strengthen the multifaceted relationship between the two countries. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir today said that the government signed a treaty with India's Reliance Power to buy electricity so that the ruling party can do corruption. He made the comment during a memorial meeting for former Finance Minister Saifur Rahman at Dhaka Reporters Unit Auditorium in the capital's Segun Bagicha area. The BNP leader also said that his party would make further comments once they see what treaties the Prime Minister signs during her India visit. At meeting, Standing Committee member Mosharraf Hussain claimed that leaders and activists of the ruling party are turning the country into a bankrupt one, though money laundering. He also claimed that the government is preparing to use EVMs during the next general election to ensure vote rigging. Chief Election Commissioner CEC Qazi Habibul Awal said that the Commission would not interfere to political strategies or any party during the next general election. At the same time, he also said that the election would be all participatory, one if BNP participates. The CIC made the comments to reporters after completing this dialogue with two political parties, Jatiya Party JP and National Army Party NAP in Dhaka. They advised the CEC to stay away from any controversy so that an acceptable election is ensured. Besides, both of the parties wanted electronic voting machines (EVMs) during the next election at all the 300 constituencies. The CEC informed that the election roadmap would be finalized in the current month. He also informed that as election preparation, he would publish the final voter list in March next year. He reiterated his call on all political parties to participate at the general election to make it a competitive one. Education Minister Dipu Moni said that the secondary school certificate SSC and its equivalent examinations, which were postponed due to flood, would begin on September 15. She also said that the examinations would begin at 11 in the morning this year instead of 10 in the morning, considering the traffic jam. The minister made the remarks while speaking to reporters after a meeting with the National Monitoring and Law and Order Committee for ensuring smooth environment for the upcoming SSC exams at the Secretariat today. She added that the coaching centres would remain closed across the country from September 12th to October 2nd. The examinations will be held for 2 hours instead of 3 hours. Myanmar soldiers have been patrolling around the barbed wire fences near the Bangladesh border with heavy weapons and ammunition. Soldiers from Myanmar could also be seen stationed in bunkers near the border along with heavy weapons on Sunday. Fear prevails among the Rohingya staying at the zero point, including the local people of the Ghumdum-Tumru border, as soldiers would be seen patrolling in groups inside Myanmar around the zero point fence of the Ghumdum-Konarpara border. Earlier on Saturday, 2 mortar shells from Myanmar fell inside Bangladesh between border posts 40 and 41 at the union of Naikon Chadari Upazila. Meanwhile, border guard Bangladesh BGP remain in high alert to face any untoward situation. 10 people were killed in a head-on collision between 2 buses on Rangpur-Dinajpur highway in Taraganj Upazila of Rangpur today. More than 70 others were injured. A bus of Joyana Poribohon collided head-on with a bus of Islam Poribohon near Kharubhaj Bridge after midnight, leaving 5 people dead on the spot and at least 70 others injured. On information, police, fire servicemen and local people rescued the injured victims and rushed them to Rangpur Medical College and Hospital, where 4 more people succumbed to the injuries. Besides, the condition of 2 other injured people were stated to be critical. Gazi Mazharul Anwar was buried at Bonani graveyard beside his mother after Namaz-e-Janaza held at Gulshan Azad Mosque in Dhaka this afternoon. Earlier in the morning, people from all walks of life paid their last tributes to legendary lyricist, film director, producer and screenwriter Gazi Mazhar after his body was taken to the central Shohid Minar. He had been given Guard of Honor there. Various socio-cultural organizations and people paid their last tribute to the coffin of the late lyricist. Later, the body of Gazi Mazharul Anwar was taken to BFDC, where his first Namaz-e-Janaza was held. The legendary lyricist breathed his last at the United Hospital after some time of his arrival from his residence in the city on Sunday morning. We are taking a short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching SATV News. Now, news from abroad. Foreign Secretary Liz Truss was named a leader of the governing Conservative Party, taking power as Britain's next Prime Minister at a time when the country faces a cost of living crisis, industrial unrest and the recession. After weeks of often bad-tempered and divisive party leadership contests that pitted Truss against Rishi Sunak, a former finance minister, Monday's announcement triggered the beginning of a handover from Boris Johnson. Johnson was forced to announce his resignation in July after months of scandal, and he will travel to Scotland to meet Queen Elizabeth on Tuesday to officially tender his resignation. His successor will follow him and be asked to form a government. Long the front runner in the race to replace Johnson, he became the Conservatives' 4th Prime Minister since the 2015 election. Canadian police launched a huge manhunt for 2 men suspected of stabbing 10 people to death in a rampage that has shocked the nation. 15 others were injured in around an indigenous community in central Canada. Police urged residents to be extremely vigilant as they conduct a search operation across one of Canada's largest and most remote regions. 2 suspects named as Damien Sanderson and Miles Sanderson are on the run and considered armed and dangerous. Victims were found in 13 locations in the remote indigenous community, James Smith, Cree Nation and nearby Weldon. It is of the deadliest act of mass violence Canada has seen. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said it was heartbreaking. He said those responsible for today's abhorrent attacks must be fully brought to justice. Israeli forces shot and killed a Palestinian teenager during a raid on the northern occupied West Bank city of Jenin and its outskirts today. Tahir Mohammed Zakarne was killed in the village of Kabatia, south of Jenin, after being shot in the head and legs. He was He was taken to hospital in the morning before succumbing to his injuries several hours later. The Israeli raid on Jenin began at dawn and led to confrontations with Palestinians. An Israeli army statement said that its forces were conducting counter-terrorism activity in Jenin and Kabatia, and the violent riots were instigated. Voters in Chile overwhelmingly rejected a new constitution which was due to replace the one drawn up under Jean Augusto Pinochet's military rule. In a referendum, almost 62% voted against a progressive draft. The margin of the defeat is much larger than opinion polls had suggested. Chile's President Gabriel, who had backed the new constitution, said that he would work with Congress and civil society to come up with a new constitutional process. The new constitution would have had a greater focus on social rights, the environment and gender equality than the existing charter, which was adopted during the rule of military dictator Augusto. Now sports news. Pakistan chased down 182 with one ball to spare in Dubai to record a brilliant win over India in the Super 4 chase of the Asia Cup on Sunday night. Mohammad Rizwan top scored with 71. Before ending, we go to the headlines again. Sheikh Hasina starts her 4-day state visit to India. India hopes the trip is set to further strengthen the relationship. Election Commission will not interfere to any political strategies during the next general election, says CEC Qazi Habibullah Wal. SSC exams will begin on September 15 at 11 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. considering the traffic jam, says the Education Minister. You're up to date so far here on SATV News, and to know the latest news, visit www.satvtv.tv. Stay with SATV.